All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you, just like me. All right, this is Colin James, absolutely amazing guitarist from Canada. Don't hold that against him because it's not his fault that Canada is the way they are. Open Road, great. It's been out for a while, but I figured I'd mention it again. It's blues rock. It's very accessible. It's well produced. It's everything you want in a rock album with great guitar work. If you want to call it roots music, I don't know. Back in the day when I worked at a mainstream rock radio station in the 80s, we played Colin James. We played a bunch of songs by Colin James, and I don't know what happened. The 90s came along and just wiped that out mostly. You know, you had Kenny Wayne Shepherd, I think, during the 90s. But for the most part, the whole blues revival thing was over. And I miss it because you got to hear all kinds of great classic rock sounding music that you don't get to hear on the radio anymore. Anyway, Colin James, one more time, check it out, Open Road. I bought the CD. I liked it that much. Of course, you can stream it if you must. All right, so Roger Waters is in trouble again. This time the Germans are after Roger Waters. The Germans. The German city of Frankfurt cancels Roger Waters, a concert he was scheduled over his solidarity with Palestine. Now, Waters is getting hit on all sides now. He's getting hit about his support, or at least his understanding of the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Most people here in Western media don't understand and don't care. And it's even worse when it comes to Israel and Palestine. In fact, as a Christian, I find it interesting that a lot of Christians don't understand that there are Palestinian Christians that live in Palestine that deserve the same kind of rights and respect as the people who live in Israel. And so I look at it as everybody should be able to live together in harmony, but these conflicts have been going on for thousands of years, and we're not going to be resolving them anytime soon. Roger Waters won't be able to do it, but he has a point of view. And what is frightening is that his point of view is a point of view that, isn't allowed. It isn't allowed. If you say it, you become an anti-Semite. So let's read this article here. And this is from a Palestinian point of view, because every article I've read basically condemns Waters, and that's the end of that. The city of Frankfurt announced on Friday that it was canceling the forthcoming concert of Pink Floyd rock legend Roger Waters, accusing him of being one of the world's best-known anti-Semites. He's the best known. I don't know, I thought it was, Kanye West, right? Waters, who was supposed to perform in Frankfurt on May 28th, has been repeatedly attacked by German officials attempting to have his upcoming shows canceled. Yes, let's cancel the show because, free speech, this is like doxing or whatever at a real, high level. I mean, obviously he would make lots of money off the concert, or not, who knows. The city of Frankfurt, this is interesting, owns a 60% stake in the Festhall venue. So because the state owns the venue, they're able to cancel the gig. This is pretty interesting. And this is following intense pressure from pro-Israeli groups. Waters is known for his outspoken commitment to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and is a proud supporter of the rights of Palestinians. Now listen to this, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. All right. Now, I may not agree with all of that, but that doesn't sound like a bad thing on its face. Waters is not unique in having weaponized allegations of anti-Semitism wielded against him in Germany. Think of where this is happening, in Germany, folks. Germany. Does World War II kind of ring a little bell in the back of your mind? And how that seems a little bit ironic, I think is the correct word. I don't know. The Euromed Human Rights Monitor recently expressed concern over the anti-Arab purge in German media. So it sounds like they're just going to get rid of any dissenting voices. Sounds kind of similar to American media, where yes, there is a conservative media or an alternative media, thanks to platforms like YouTube, so long as your videos don't get censored or blocked. But most people are watching the alphabet soup networks and the cable channels and all that stuff still to this day. And the prevailing view is Israel good, Palestine bad. All right. And I think it's a little more nuanced. I really do. As someone who's a Christian who understands, here's God's people over here, right? God's people. We hear this all the time. These are God's people. So what does that mean? That means they get to do everything and anything they want. I don't know. It doesn't sound, not to be all Jesus on everybody, but it doesn't sound like something that Jesus would do. Just throwing it out there. I mean, you can make your own determinations, especially you got Christians living in Palestine, like actual Jesus followers in Palestine. And in Israel, I don't know how many Jesus followers are in Israel. I'm just, again, I'm sure there are some, but I've heard that it's basically one religion, right? And you have to stick with that one. Now, you could say there's a covenant here and there's a covenant, another covenant, and the two covenants are working simultaneously. So the new covenant folks need to honor the old covenant. And this is where it just like your brain starts to explode. So, I mean, it's like a biblical manifest destiny or something. I don't understand all of it. But I do understand that people should be able to have the right to speak out and to support whatever they want to support without getting canceled. But here's Waters being canceled because he's an outspoken critic of Israel's apartheid and oppression of the Palestinian people since he first went to the West Bank in 2006. The writer here says not only is Roger Waters not racist, as indeed there has never been a single proof of him ever saying anything derogatory or insulting of the Jewish people. They go on to say he is one of the most principled and morally driven artists of our time. And this is according to a Palestinian journalist who, of course, they're going to have a much different perspective. This guy's name is Ramzi Baroud. Baroud added that the attack on Waters is part and parcel of an attack on all artists, academics, politicians, or anyone who dares criticize Israel's violations of Palestinian human rights and the constant disregard of international law. Now, if you turn on Sean Hannity and you get his take on this, he's going to say these people are all terrorists, right? The Palestinians are all terrorists and they're trying to destroy Israel. That's what you're going to hear every night. I don't think they have the weaponry or the power, anything to do that to Israel, but you're going to hear it all the time. Just like you're going to hear that Putin is going to march across Europe and take over Europe if, this is allowed to happen with Ukraine, where he has two goals in Ukraine. He wants to get rid of the Nazis in Ukraine. That was number one. And number two, he wants to demilitarize the country so they stop bombing their own people in the eastern part of the country. That's it. That's all he wants. And then, go on your merry way after that. People are getting worried that Russia is now starting to unite with China. And that's because no one is listening to what Russia is saying other than China. Is that scary? I don't know. Could be scary. I mean, those guys get mad enough and we continue to provoke everybody. But in the case of Roger Waters, he's being canceled. I mean, that's a big deal. That's a lot of concert revenue. And he's got other events in Germany, so not all of them have been canceled yet. but who knows? If one domino falls, the rest of them might go along with it. So in any event, I don't have any problem with the Jewish people. I don't have any issues with the Jewish people. I don't know the situation as well as other people do on this issue, but it appears that anyone who has a slightly different take on this, other than Israel right 100% of the time, Palestine wrong 100% of the time, if you don't hold that view, then you're considered to be anti-Semitic. And once that gets thrown out, like the racist or any of these other labels on you, you know, in the case of Roger Waters, he's toast. They did it to him in the media. Polly Sampson, David Gilmour's wife, is calling him all kinds of names. And I don't think it's fair. I think Roger has some principles. And again, I don't agree with Roger Waters on some of his other so-called human rights agendas. I don't agree with it because he's off base. He's making claims that aren't true about certain groups of people. But anyway, I just find it crazy that you can get this banned and this blocked, have a concert scheduled, and then they cancel the concert because you support a certain agenda that the state doesn't agree with. That is very dangerous, and it's a weird, powerful kind of authoritarianism that if it keeps growing, people aren't going to be able to have any other opinions than the one that is being told to them each day in the media and by so-called government officials. Anyway, people, I know that was a very wonky video. Colin James, Open Road, fantastic album. You got to check it out. This is real music for real people. Again, this year I'm focusing more on organic music. I don't like all this overproduction, and I want to hear actual guitars and drums and bass, and I want to hear vocals that don't sound like they've been run through an auto tune or a processor of some kind. And that's why I'm showcasing some things that I think are a little more rootsy and a little more real. So just in case you want to know where I'm going with that, that's where I'm going. Thanks for going here and watching the video. Don't forget to, you could sign up for Patreon for $1 a month. Also, to support the channel. Also, YouTube memberships for $2.99 a month. Every so often, I'm going to post a members-only video about topics that I think you might be interested in. And yeah, subscribe and keep watching the videos. That's the best thing you can do for the channel. Subscribe and watch the videos and share them. If this video is interesting to you and you might want to share it with somebody, that's fine. That's okay by me. That's why they're here. Again, thanks for being here, and I will see you soon.